Welcome to another episode of Rectec Reels. I'm Hannah McQuarner, Commercial Success Manager from Rectec, and joining me today is Fiona from Clinch, and we're going to be talking about using career sites to enhance the candidate experience. So Fiona, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Thank you, Hannah. Nice to be here. My name is Fiona Moreton. I'm more commonly known as Fee, and the Chief Product Officer for the Clinch recruitment marketing platform and CRM. We're a global sensation, sold across the US, UK, and Europe and Australia, though maybe not that well known to many. It's a self-service career site capability supported by AI and marketing candidate automation, and it has an inbuilt CRM. So our goal is really to give full self-service control to the recruiters and employer brand managers to allow the candidate experience to be a good one, regardless of whether you get a role or not. From first visit onwards, every single interaction can be controlled by you. I've personally worked in the recruitment sector for a while, and I particularly love technology, a secret geek, I think.
You and me both. Lovely stuff. So fair to say that you know your thing about recruitment. So just the first question I wanted to ask was around using marketing techniques to enhance the recruitment process, I suppose. So the first question I have is, how would you say that typically customers would get started on the journey to start using marketing techniques to recruit?
I think sometimes people get a little concerned because the word marketing is in there. So what does that actually mean for recruitment? But I think nowadays, it's really just how do you dress your shop front? So that's your career site for candidates. And it's amazing how not everybody is really considering how that has an impact on not just the people that come and apply for the job, the people that check you out, first of all, to see, what you have on offer. So I think the first thing I would recommend is making sure that you really have had somebody look at your site, make sure that it's and compare it to others, especially your competition, and ensure that it's positioning a number of different items for you effectively. So first of all, your value and your brand proposition, sort of really making sure that's front and center so people know what you stand for. It's also important to make sure you demonstrate things like, if you joined an organization, what could your career path look like? We've done a lot of surveys on candidate experience, and about 94% of candidates want to know what their path looks like beyond the first role they take with you. So your internal mobility strategy. I think values matter. Deal with the multi-generational piece. So again, think about what can I use that just really showcases what our values are as a business, our purpose, where we're going, because that really allows people to select in and out very easily. And make sure you really kind of point to why come work for us. So they're the basics to start with, and make sure you've just got the basics right, and then you can evolve it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important, exactly as you said, even if it's not something for getting your name out there for active job seekers, people are going to see it. That's one of the first things that people look at when they're having a little bit of a snoop. So we've got to make sure that it gives the most accurate insight into the business, as well as what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's right.
So with that in mind, I was just going to ask the second question. So how does that support the candidate experience? I know you've kind of briefly touched on that.
Well, I think the first thing is most people aren't aware that there's about 70% of candidates that come to the site they don't know about. So instead of trying to leave the journey there, the first thing you should be doing is, how do you get in a little bit of information about them every time they visit? So starting with first name, last name, email to start with, or mobile. Then start to use marketing automation to start feeding them information that's personalized and specific to you, that candidate. And typically when people are researching, do I want to switch jobs, really good candidates already have a job. And so you really, really want to start building a relationship with them, rather than just thinking, oh, you want this job, just take this job. I mean, that's part of the journey, obviously, but it's how do you kind of build a picture of them understanding what you really stand for. And the tools that are available, not just with us, but with other organizations, are automating that based on candidate response and behavior. So they can really be taken on a personalized journey. And I think that's important. So collecting minimum and building that picture of them, and them also being able to see more about you, and how that works. and also making that multi-generational. So I think it's important that it's not just about the content you supply, it's about providing them information in different formats. So I think the younger the generation, the more they're used to dealing with more always on type conversations, chat, versus say traditionally, I want to pick up a phone and talk to somebody. So you have to deal with that whole demographic, vast space from, very, very recent school leavers to people that are quite established and been around for a number of years. I think those things are important as well in terms of techniques to use.
Yeah, and I think one thing that you kind of touched upon and echoed through the answer to that question was around personalization, and where you're kind of saying, I like the term that you use, multi-generational. Well, that feels more personalized actually from a recruiter's admin perspective. It's not really. It's around automation, but obviously it sounds terrible, but it's obviously it's going to make the candidate feel a little bit better when you're kind of contacting them the way that they might want to be contacted. So yeah, personalization
absolutely
is important in that sense.
It is. Yeah, and also around 25% of visitors come back. And when they do come back, we've analysed all these millions of data points within career sites. They're more likely to take the plunge to apply because they've bought into the journey you're on. So it's like it's not a once. That's where the marketing techniques come in. It's like kind of continuing to promote your role, not just roles, but your business to them and the typical opportunities they have. And when they are ready to take that plunge, which could be 3, 6, 9, 12 months away, then they know where to go and you're already bringing them in and showing them the journey.
Yeah, exactly. And I think obviously there's a reason that they've come back. So clearly done something right. Lovely. Okay, so my final question for you then, Fee, is around giving some advice. So what advice would you give to recruiters that are looking to actually use marketing techniques to enhance their own recruitment processes?
Yeah, I think the biggest sort of question we get is we don't have any content. We don't know how to write content. How do we do this? That's one of the first things people really get concerned about. And we sort of say, well, first of all, most organizations have a huge amount of content they just don't realize and they're just not repurposing and reusing. So start with what you've got internally. Secondly, it's progress, not perfection. Don't feel that you suddenly have to go from having very little to having everything. It's a journey. These tools and technologies like ours can help you evolve the brand and it can help you take people on the journey. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect the first day. And I think organizations think they have to have everything in line, but that's the whole agile methodology of life. When you build a product, the product evolves over time and you get better and better at using it. I think as well is there's marketing capability and techniques and automation that you can set up that is quite basic to start with. So making sure you capture candidates that are going to leave the site through exit call to actions. Make sure that you set up workflows that are best practice that you can be advised on out of the box, where you just are letting the tools do the job for you, where you don't have to intervene. And that becomes really important. And also just look at the competition's website, look at other people's website, get ideas. I mean, that's a great way to get started, and don't be fearful of that. So you have to start somewhere. And at the end of the day, if you're not driving the perception of your organization to candidates, they're going to make their own mind up through Google and other techniques. They're going to go to Glassdoor and have a look at Glassdoor, and they're going to find their own perceptions of who you are as a business. So why not guide that a bit more yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've made some amazing points there. And yeah, I think it's so important to utilize the techniques that you already have and you might not realize that you do, and just make sure that, exactly as you said, I mean, if people are going to be looking into a company anywhere or via Google or Store or whatever else is out there right now doing that same thing, you might as well kind of spearhead that and make sure the message is correct.
Yeah, I'd add one final point. If you've got good technology powering your career site and overall the journey you're going on, you can be agile about the changes because it will tell you what's working and what's not, right down to the last interaction that you've had with those candidates. And that informs you to make different content decisions or sourcing strategy decisions to really help you close the ability to get candidates on board and really get them the right content at the right time at speed. So that's important. Ensure when you're getting started, you can actually measure the outcomes of what you're doing, and I think that's a vital last point just to share.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, monitoring data and outcomes is everything in tech. So, yeah, really important. Lovely. Well, thanks for joining me today, Fee. If you are watching this and you're in the market for a new ATS or CRM or even HRIS now, then do take advantage of our unique fee-free comparison service, Rectec Compare. But if you are looking to build out your tech stack with complementary tech like Clinch, then do check out our tech marketplace at rectec.io.